Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Educational Currency Podcast. I'm Chris Kaladikis here from Maximum Education, and you may notice I'm Robless tonight. Okay, unfortunately, Rob can't be with me tonight, but it's also provided a great opportunity for me to introduce my friends tonight. I have with me Nathan and Alishja, and they're going to be telling us about the Muir tour. So welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us, Chris.
Yeah, thanks.
No worries. And then look, I've got to give credit to Alishja. With Rob being away and we've got 3 microphones, Alicia's actually popped in the last second. So she's not as prepared for this as Nathan is. But she's going to be giving her opinions on essentially what you guys, the adventure you've been on for the past 2.5 years. So firstly, I'll pass it over to you guys. Tell us, who are you?
So my name's Nathan Muir and my better half is Alishja Muir.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, of course. And we've been currently traveling around Australia for the past 2.5 years and in a caravan and with 2.5 kids. Well, originally 2 kids, but now we've had another one on the road and yeah.
It's a little roadie.
Yeah, a little road baby. And yeah, it's been a great experience. We're back in Sydney for a short whirlwind 2 weeks and Chris decided to throw us on the podcast to pick our brains on what we've been doing and how we've been teaching our kids and sharing the experiences with them on the road.
Yeah, discovering the country and learning whole lots, like everything.
Yeah. And look, and that is it, like just the whole perspective of what you guys have been doing, obviously, on your trip around Australia and the benefits your children have. And got to say, that's a feat in itself, Alishja, having a third child while on this trip. Like, that's just amazing how you guys achieved that. Like, you know, obviously not much TV watching probably led to it or something like that, but being able to, you know, to have a young one as you travel around Australia too, like, you know, that's a fantastic thing. How was that in itself, just being on the move and being pregnant and then delivering?
Pregnancy was fine for me. Unfortunately, for some others, it's not as much, but for me, it worked out really well. My clinch moment is like, where are we going to have the baby? And then what am I going to do? Bring the 5 of us home to a tin can to stay and have like a newborn and the baby's crying and they got the 2 other two in the same caravan in the same room. It's just that part was the most scary part for me. But yeah, no, it was good. It's good. It was the best decision we ever made to actually stay on the road. Like we were contemplating coming home, but very glad that we didn't. And we're going to keep on traveling. So, yeah, definitely good decision.
It is amazing. And obviously, and that's one of the reasons as well why we couldn't do this episode later, because Nathan and Alishja are only in Sydney for a limited time. Otherwise, we would have held off to when Rob probably could come back on too. So we are very lucky to have you slotted in tonight. And we're very blessed. And as said, yeah, we will talk about like things that you guys have learned on the road, but then also that educational aspect of how your children have learned while being life on the road, and then also how you've looked into with your children starting school and the different opportunities through that pathway. But let's go right back to the beginning now. How did you come to this decision? We're going to do this. We're going to go for it. You're a family of 4 at this point. Okay, and you've made this decision. Talk me through the process, because I'm sure there's people out there who might have been in similar mindsets.
Don't know how much similar, but
It was COVID.
Yeah, towards COVID, we were stuck in our unit and we're like, look, we need to go and have a break, have a holiday somewhere. And so there were cheap flights to go up to Cairns and we booked a 2-week trip up to Cairns, stayed in a caravan park up there. And while we're up in Cairns in the caravan park, we got to know a whole lot of families that were traveling on the road. And we're like, oh, this sounds like a great opportunity. And a lot of the families, some of them were doing 3 months travel, some of them 6, some of them even year, or had been traveling for years. And we're going, why is this something that we've never even thought of possible before? So it got our brains ticking. And when we came back to Sydney, we're like, you know what, this does sound like something that we want to do. And we did a bit more research. And then, what was it, a couple of weeks after getting back, we were like, yep, let's do it.
I'm going to cut in there.
Okay.
Because we talked about this on the trip and they were like, oh, yeah, this would be great. We should do this. We get home and it's like the first week back at work. Nathan comes home on Monday. It's like, okay, I put my resignation in. We're leaving in 2 months. And I'm like, oh, we're actually doing this. I need to go put my resignation in at work.
So that was the turnaround.
It wasn't a resignation.
sorry,
it was long service leave.
Long service
I had to
leave.
give 2 months notice for long service leave.
Yeah.
And so 2 months was our time frame.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a car. We didn't have a caravan. We had a unit to
Get ready for renting.
Get ready to rent out. So it was still some repairs and things. We had to buy all our gear.
We had no four-wheel driving experience, no chance towing anything, let alone the box trailer compared to what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And then, first weekend we went and had a look at a car and we bought the car, and a lot of our family were like, yeah, you guys aren't going. It's just a new car or something. And then 2 weeks later we had the van. And then everyone's like, oh, maybe they are going on this trip. And then a few weeks later, we had the unit was cleared and we were repairing it, and we'd bought most of our stuff. And then come mid-November, we got in the van and left. And that was it. 2022, November 2022 is when we left.
And at that point, what was your plan for how long were you guys thinking of being away?
A year.
Yeah. It was planned for a year because that was how long originally I put in for my long service. Long service plus leave without pay. And that was what I was allowed to take.
And essentially because then our eldest would have started school. So we were going to start her with the kindergarten cohort.
Yeah. So the original plan, to come back in 2024 and then start kindergarten.
Wow. And then obviously things went really well because you're still on the road.
That's right.
And still getting around.
Well, it literally took about maybe 2-3 months into the trip, and we're just like, we haven't even scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
Like, when are we going to get all the gear and everything ready again? We just thought we're going to do it once, do it right. And we still think we're going too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still think going too fast. There's so much more to see.
Yeah. And look, it's interesting too. So you've hopped in the car, you're on the go. Which direction did you go? Where'd you start?
To my grandparents' place.
Yeah, what's that?
Went to Barrel.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Barrel I've been to. That one I can relate to.
But that was because it was, we weren't going to see them for a very long time. It was thought, all right, let's go check off the grandparents, make sure we've seen and said goodbye to them, and then let's go on and start the trip. And
from there, essentially, we were like, okay, so we grew up in Sydney, New South Wales. We've seen a lot of the New South Wales. Like, I have also family in the New England, and we've been up and down the coast when we were kids and stuff. So we want to get as far away as possible, so then we can see places we've never been to before and never seen before. So that's how.
So you're going to say far away as possible from family.
Yeah, that too. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's it. And so obviously life on the road too. How are you guys maintaining yourself? I know, Alishja, you've been really active on being able to find work easy. How have you gone about that?
So I work as a sonographer. So I do ultrasounds, and it's a quite in-demand job. There's a bit of they just need sonographers around. So I've been able to pick up work all over Australia. And essentially how that goes is then we work for a stint, and then we travel for a stint, and then we work for a stint. Each contract in each place is very different. The shortest contracts we've had was maybe 2 days. Like a lot of places in regional Western Australia, they'd fly in, fly out workers. So I would work there for a bit and then go, we'd work for 3 or 4 days, and then we go sit on the beach for 3 or 4 days on the ocean, and then we work for 3 or 4 days and go hiking for a couple of days and come back. So we go into national parks. So it actually worked really well, even just in the way that we were traveling for cleaning and picking up stuff, doing washing. We'd have to come back to civilization after X amount of time. So it worked out really well. Yeah. We just picked up work when we needed it and then moved on. But that being said, there's so much work out there in different areas in all kinds of. We've been offered caretaker positions in Cape Leveque on the tip of the Dampier Peninsula and north of Broome. That was a 6-month thing, and all we had to do is 6 months they wanted us, and all we had to do is mow the lawn, and you'd have pristine ocean all around you, and you just go fishing and just look at that. There's been other jobs all out over the place that you could just do something completely different, and that would be amazing. Like I'd love to go and do like a mustering or going to a farm or something like that. And
station work. There's plenty of station work that they'll take you in, whether or not you want to work as a cook or a station hand or a governess, something. How big the station is will depend on what the demand for the.
You could be a
job
governess,
is.
Chris.
Could I? What do I have to wear?
It's a teacher.
Can I wear my hat?
Teaching.
Is it just a teaching position?
Yeah. You're teaching all the kids
on the station, all the families working
the parents and the families that are working on the station.
Yeah.
They need somewhere for their kids to be so they can work on the station.
Yeah.
So you facilitate the distance education or the homeschooling or whatever it is that you'd like the facilitator of it.
Oh, yeah.
And Tina can be the cook.
Tina can be the cook. Why couldn't she be a governess?
She could be. She could be.
Could be. You could both be governesses.
Yeah. It sounds like some sort of outfits related to. I don't know. I keep thinking there's some sort of costume. You
got to wear a dress for it, Leah.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it doesn't sound like a good idea. Yeah. That's it. And with these, you've already kind of alluded to it. There's a number of perks to working like regionally and remotely.
Oh, definitely.
Could you mention some to the audience?
There's always perks within the work that you do because it's what you do is a bit more valuable in regards to there's not as many of you guys around. So then when they have, like for me, they have appointments, they've been waiting for a long time and then they finally get to have them more efficiently. But even just the travel around it. So you can travel like you're in a different place. So then you go to different national parks nearby and you go travel like there sort of thing. And there's lots of perks.
And so in some places, as you mentioned, they fly you in and they give you accommodation.
Yeah. So I generally get accommodation and I get car hire for where I'm working. And also we aren't flying into anywhere because we are driving around. So they'll pay for kilometres to get to the location as well. So that makes it a little easier on the budget for travelling. So, we've done some amazing through places to get to other places.
And how do you build those connections? Because obviously you're not in those areas at first. How do you know there's work there or there's, work in this part of Australia? How do you look into it?
So,
that was difficult initially, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Like some of it you'd go off the internet like Seek and whatnot. Then after that you go onto one place, there's other people working there and then you talk to them. It's like, oh, I have a mate who works here and it's just word of mouth kind of getting around. So that was a lot for work that way. I've also worked as a casual employee for like big companies to move around within them. I've also worked as a contractor, like an independent, like ABN contractor, and I've also worked under like a locum agency, which they find the work for you. I've gone through different methods to kind of find that out. If anyone else wanted to do it though, I found a lot of people working on the road. They would say, for example, you're coming into Broome and you want to find work. You literally just go and find the Broome Facebook page, which is probably like a plethora of them. And you just choose and just put up saying, oh, I'm a mechanic and I'm turning up in town for 3 weeks. Does anyone have any work? And literally they contact you. They come in and then you say, oh, okay, cool. And it's like, oh, I've got work for you. And it's like, okay, well, can we park our van on your driveway so you don't have to do caravan park fees or something like that? Like there's so much work if in any trade and that's just in the trade side of things. But then you just talk to other travellers because we're all going around in different directions and someone's always got something going, oh, we just left for this farm. It was really good. It's all like an amazing interconnection of word of mouths and that sort of stuff. And there's all the Facebook pages for like working rural and remote in Australia. There's a lot,
So that's it. So social media plays a big part in it. And then obviously that's a great tangent to there seems to be a community on the road too that you guys have built great bonds with.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, big traveling community, and you'll end up you'll be staying at one spot and then the friends that you make at that spot, they might travel on a couple of weeks and then a few weeks later you'll catch them again at another spot because they decided to take a bit longer to get somewhere and your kids end up playing again with each other and
you keep on leapfrogging each other and then meeting up and then by the end of it you're like, actually, okay, let's travel together and you're in like a big convoy.
Oh, wow.
And so, had a couple of convoy groups that we've been with.
Like Mad Max, the cars going along.
We had about, I think one time we had about 7 or 8 vehicles in convoy, and
cool.
Everyone's on the radio, everyone's chatting to each other, telling jokes, and it's like, oh, wait, there's a river crossing coming up, everyone go a bit slower. So the biggest car goes through first just to make sure everyone else can, and then everyone follows through. And
that was the Lynchfield track in Litchfield. Sorry, the Reynolds track in Litchfield National Park.
Wow. How deep did you go? Like
that one was 700 mil.
I think so.
Yeah.
We haven't been above the bonnet. We nearly did when we were in El Questo station near Carlinara, but we decided to walk it instead and went through the mud because we like our cars. We don't want it to be.
That was pressure. A bit deeper, and that was before I'd put in the diff breathers. Well, it had the diff breathers, but before I put in the gearbox breather, and I didn't want any water getting into that, so I heard on the safe side, and we parked and walked an extra kilometre and a bit instead.
Yeah, so instead of like a 6-hour hike with the kids, we did an 8-hour hike with the kids just because we didn't want to get the car through the crossing getting towards it.
Yeah. And how have the kids been on the road? Like for the long hauls in the drive, have they been all right?
Initially, not too happy, but I guess it's a part of, because it then became just a regular routine for them that we'd be traveling in the car for a certain amount of hours each day or every couple of days. They got used to that travel time, and they eventually stopped complaining about it and got on with colouring in, reading, playing games with each other in the back of the car. Like, we don't have iPads in the car. The only time we'll use any electronic device is if the travelling time is over 3 hours.
Yeah.
So once it gets over that time, then they're allowed to have something, but for the amount of times we do that, it's very few. We try and limit ourselves to maybe a maximum of 3 hours or 2.5 hours drive down the road to another spot. Because you think about it, 2.5 hours drive down a highway that you can do 100 Ks on. 200 Ks is a long way along the coast, and you can be into many different spots. So that's what our kids have gotten used to at the moment with the travelling. They've also gotten used to setting up a caravan. Now, we have had a change of caravan, so our setups have changed quite dramatically, and we've gotten the kids involved in the setup as well. So they each had their own routine. They had their chores that they had to do to help mum and dad to set up, because there's no point in us doing all the work for them just waiting around. So we got them to do things. So it might have been lowering the support legs on the caravan. So my eldest daughter.
It's kind of like chores.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's good. It's very practical and they're learning from it, aren't they?
Yeah. It was their way of helping the family get set up. And this was our house on the road. So
we call it a turtle.
Yeah, living in your shell.
That's how we'll explain. Because when we left, one of them was 2 years old. He didn't understand it. So it's like, it's like a turtle. Our house is coming with us. What happened to our house? We bring it with us.
That's so cute.
But even then, between Alishja and myself, we would divide up what we would do for a setup. So I'd mostly set up the caravan, and Alishja would look after the kids most of the time for like keeping them out of the way, or if they needed to do a chore, they'd send them back and do their chore for that particular thing. And then once the van was set up, then we could go and play, go and explore.
Yeah.
And see the place that we just pulled up in.
Yeah.
So.
And do you plan ahead, or like I'm guessing you do plan ahead on where you're going to be at that next step, but sometimes is it spontaneous where you stop as well?
Yep.
For Nathan, it's always spontaneous because he doesn't know where we're going.
I don't know where we're going. We're driving today. Okay, pack up the van.
I said,
let's go.
It'd be more like our aim is we're going in this direction and we'll see how far we get.
Yeah.
But it's like, this would be like I'd look up ahead and I'd be, okay, we want to see this and this. And it's like, well, where we go, how we go about it might change. But generally we see the places that I want to see.
Yeah.
And
but
Nathan
really
comes along and enjoys it.
They're not really planned too far
unless
in advance.
it's a work trip. Like where
we've got to be.
For example, we were broken down in Broome for 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Oh God!
And the guy's like, so you might be able to get out of here. And I'm like, and I had work. I'm like, I just need to get to Alice Springs by October, which was like 3 months later. And I'm like, that's all I need to do. And he's like, oh, okay. Then it's like, it didn't really matter where we were between them. And it's just like, I just had to work starting in a couple of months later.
Yeah.
And that's really all that we did in regards to planning. So
That sounds like a movie title, Broken Down in Broome. All these hijinks happened for 6 weeks.
yeah.
You're keeping a journal of all this stuff, aren't you?
I am. But yes, Broome is the perfect place to break down.
Yeah, really in the right part of town.
There could have been some worse spots to break down, but it had everything you needed.
It had 2 shopping centres.
Wow.
Yeah, so that means that
Big ones?
No.
No?
Just if there's just
Any
a one
kind of
Woolies and
shopping
one
centre is a
Coles
good
and have a bit of
shopping centre on the
competition,
road.
that's all you
Come on.
need.
You had choice in it. And then,
No competition.
oh, yeah.
The competition makes a difference.
Yeah, and able to keep prices down.
Yeah.
And I was going to say to you, when you are spontaneous and like you stop somewhere, is it just that it has to have a caravan park or you're flexible the way you can stop?
Anywhere.
Anywhere that dirt patch is essentially it. And it also depends on which state in Australia you're traveling through.
Yeah.
So more so in like Western Australia and South Australia, you're going to get a lot of places that are free parks, places where you can just pull up and you don't pay any park fees or anything. You just set your van up on a nominated dirt patch or on the beach.
Yeah.
A lot of councils actually support it.
Yeah, because it brings people to their areas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also you get a lot of pub stays as well. So the pub will say you can camp on our land and use our toilet and all that sort of stuff. But then come and have a meal. I'm like, well, that works out for us.
I like that, eh?
A lot of the inland towns in Western Australia, you can do a 72-hour stay. And so it's all free. They have a designated area for all campers. And so you can stay there for 72 hours, 3 days.
Yeah.
And they want you there because then tourists are going to spend money in their town.
Yeah. It's good for the local economy.
Yeah, it's it. They want you there.
And it's not just inland.
Not just inland, but
they have
more
other
prevalent
areas.
Inland.
Yeah, so they just have all these parking in the middle of the city and you're just like, it works out well because then our money goes towards the economy rather than paying all the caravan park fees, which, we're there to discover the place, not visit a caravan park, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. That's beautiful. Like, and it's just good to hear that because, Australia, the regions are where you get that authentic feeling, don't you? And to be able to be supporting those communities and to maintain it, like, that sounds great.
Definitely.
That's it. Well, look, obviously then you have been on the road. You've been very specific, Alishja, not to ask what's the best spot. It's more a categorical answer, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Where's the best beach? What's the best, hike?
Yeah.
Like, where have you been most surprised at? Those kind of questions. Not where's the best spot, because you can't never answer that.
No, you can't. There's too many variables involved.
Too many places for us to list.
Yeah, well then, let's go through those 3 categories first. Best beach in Australia so far.
Bottle Bay
Whereabouts is it?
So Bottle Bay is in Western Australia, near Monkey Mia, near the peninsula there. What's the national park? Cape Perion National Park, I think it's called. So basically, it was our first introduction to. It was a 4-wheel drive track to get out there, and it was a crazy.
Quite a sandy one.
Yes, it's not easy to get to this place.
We got bogged big time.
They actually at the beginning of the track, because of how bad it is, there's a inflation and deflation station for your tyres.
Because they're expecting them to go.
Yeah. Well, no, they want you to lower them down because when you're driving on sand, you need to lower the pressure on your tyres.
Yeah.
To roll over the bump rather than...
Because you think of your tyre, if you've got it fully pressurised, you only have a small surface area touching the tarmac.
Yeah.
When you lower the pressure, it elongates out the tyre and you get more grip on your surface. And so it allows for better control when you're driving your car. And that's what you want while you're driving over the sand.
So anyway, though, so first of all, it was a wicked 4-wheel drive to get out there. Then when you got there, you pulled onto the beach and it was a beautiful beach, don't get me wrong. But you just we went up the side there and there's big red cliffs covering half of the wall, which was absolutely stunning. The water was crystal clear and it was kind of like a C-shaped thing where there was like a reef that goes out here. So it was all sheltered and you could swim there and you could just park your car on the side there, and then we just had just swam all day, and it
Wow.
was fishing. We got some really good. Well, we got some sympathy fish, but
How do you get sympathy fish?
Other people give you fish they've caught because you couldn't catch any.
yeah, we got a lot of sympathy fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of sympathy. I still caught some fish.
Yeah.
It just
But other
wasn't the
people were
premium
better
fish
fisher.
that the others had caught.
That was my favorite beach by far.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
You agree, Nathan?
It was a pretty good beach.
Bottle Bay Beach.
Bottle Bay in
Western-
Shark Bay.
In Bottle Bay in Shark Bay.
Yeah.
And then the second one, what was the best walking trail that you've seen?
Walking track. That was for the hikes.
I would say in the Bunga Bungles or Punaluru National Park.
Yeah.
So that
Like
national,
the Echidna Walk one? Or
yeah, the Echidna Chasm.
Echidna Chasm?
So the Bunga Bungles, you probably recognize them from photos, and it's like just big beehives, and there's got all the different layers and the different oxides in the ground and stuff, and it's absolutely like an identifiable like picture. You'd see it immediately. It's amazing. So that was really good. But what made this one even better, which was a surprise for me, was Echidna Chasm.
Yeah.
So it was, you had to walk it about midday because the chasm is like a slit canyon. It's really tall and it's really long, goes through all these kind of corners, and the light has to hit it a certain way and it glows bright red.
Yeah.
And I could not tell you how amazing, like, it was just absolutely stunning. Like, there's been some other chasms we've gone to and they're like, oh yeah, come and see this, and you have to pay to go and see them and all this other stuff, and I'm like, this is nothing. It was like, you know, like in Indiana Jones when you're walking through and he goes into like Petra essentially.
Yeah.
But he goes through like the chasms. Imagine that going on for like at least, like, I don't know, maybe a kilometre
Yeah, there's
of
a
going.
few different zigzags on that one.
Yeah, it's like going, it's
you
not
come
just
to a
like one little bit and then you're there.
90-degree bend and then have to hike it to the left, and then you go through another bend. And you're only seeing a tiny little slit of light.
And then
coming
there's
out
like
the top.
massive boulders just like they've been like caught, half fallen down. And
Yeah.
yeah, and you catch it that right way with the redness. The Echidna Chasm was like, you know, the Bunga Bungles are incredible. Absolutely. Like, it was worth it just to go to them. But the biggest surprise was Echidna Chasm. That was I think that was probably one of my favourite.
Yeah. And what part of Australia is that in?
It's
Sorry,
in Western Australia.
that's in
Western.
northeast Western Australia.
There's a lot of good stuff in Western Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we did spend,
Most of our time in
10
Western
months in Western Australia, so we have seen a considerable amount, but still nowhere near.
Because it's
We've-
the biggest part of Australia,
We
isn't it?
haven't actually, well, to be fair also, we've only been really to 3 states.
Yeah. And
So we
that's-
can't really compare to
Yeah.
Queensland, New South Wales, Tasmania, Victoria. So we can't really, and we've only just touched Queensland, and we've spent a bit of time in South Australia, but not as much as what we have in the NT and then in Western Australia, for example.
So you've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you guys aren't coming home anytime soon, are you?
I want to go back.
Yeah. And then you already kind of said it with the Echidna Caverns. What has been your biggest surprise? Would that still be that, or would there be other things that have been considered a big surprise?
What do you think's the biggest surprise?
Mm.
As in hiking?
As in,
Just
like,
in anything,
we went to
yeah.
this random place and then it's like, wow, this is amazing.
Oh, that walk I did at El Questro Walk, and you get to the end, the one that you didn't make it all the way to.
Yes.
That was the best part of Middle East you could come to.
Yeah, it was on my own. That's all right. No.
This is the one that we said before, how it was the that we decided to walk that extra 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right? So the kids were like, 5 hours into a hike
Yeah.
and they're only 4 and 2.
Yeah.
And they're walking most of the way. And then suddenly
And are you pregnant at this point too?
No.
No.
And then to get to we went to the halfway point and we're like, if we walked back, we're going to be back at 5 o'clock. So like Nathan decided he'll take the lead and he'll go the last little bit and come back. I'm like, well, what about me?
What a champ. Taking one for the team. Went off on your own.
No, I think like overall the biggest surprise was what activities that we would actually learn and do on the road. I think for me, doing more fishing, more spear fishing, enjoying four-wheel driving. I guess that was a surprise, and us all, or the whole family, enjoying the four-wheel driving. Meeting such amazing people.
Yeah, I think the
on
people
road.
and the community was the biggest surprise ever. Like, I think we've made friends for life, like hands down. The traveling village is amazing.
Wow.
Like everyone looks out for everyone. I find that in Sydney, everyone's too busy. You're too busy trying to catch up with your friends you already have and your family you got, that you don't have time to branch out and meet other people. Whereas on the road, I don't have my family around and I don't have my friends around. So I have the opportunity to talk to people, like really talk to random people all over who do all different things. And I think I talked to you about this before. Like we met someone who was like in the circus and it's just like, oh, okay, that's an interesting career path, you know, and we met, So, but the community, like for example, when I was pregnant, we just happened to be in a couple caravans down. There was a retired obstetrician and then there was a pediatric nurse and it's just like, you know, all these people. Nathan's met a couple of CEOs who offered him jobs. You know, like just because people are just people and all the whole facade of, I don't know, you don't meet someone and say, oh, what do? Do you know what I mean? Like it's not, there's no.
It's an equalizer.
Because
everyone's on the same page when you're traveling around. Okay, you're going to have variances on your vans, on your cars, your setups, but you're all there for the same reason. You're on this experience for this trip and that's your common ground. And if you had any problems, people are more than happy to come and try and help you solve your issues no matter what it is.
They've got the time, eh?
Yeah, exactly. You have the time.
Yeah.
And like Nathan's became like a bush mechanic. We had no experience before.
No.
But like now he's learned all this from all the people that we've met. And then we've also, both of us have helped up other people that we've met along the road too. And it's kind of like as we said,
forward. You pay it forward. Whatever you've been done to yourself.
And they say about raising kids, they say it takes a village. Well, this village was probably the best village I've ever really been into, if that makes sense. Like, you know, it's just a whole lot of, and they're all like random people.
Yeah.
But it was best.
And you've said it's interesting too, because like sometimes you said you're in a convoy together. Yes. Sometimes you split off, but then sometimes you reconnect, don't you?
Exactly.
Just find each other again. And some of them are unexpected. Some we might just be like, oh, hey, we're heading up here. And it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to be there in a couple of days. Save a spot for us or something like that. Or they'll give us ideas and go, we've already been up there. Stay at this spot. This you'll find it amazing. You take this particular site or make sure you try and get in and around that area.
Yeah.
And we'll go there and like, best advice ever. And you pass that, sharing that knowledge as well. So
you're winging it a lot, eh? You're winging it. You're learning while you're on the road where you're going to go. And it's always up in the air kind of what your next step might be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then, like, for example, living in the caravan park. So when we had the newborn, we did go all through Kakadu for 2.5 weeks with a newborn with us. But, like, other than that, we were in the caravan park and we met friends like for the long term sort of thing. And then like we'd organise, like you get this big core friendship group and you'd be able to go travelling every weekend and you go see all the amazing sites and all the people coming through. Like it's just, babbling. I'm just babbling.
No, not at all. Because, you know, it's giving us just this visualisation of this culture, you know, this road culture.
I can't explain it in like how amazing it has been, the best decision we've ever done.
Unless you're actively involved, you can join on to like the culture and the convoy and the like I guess the camaraderie that happens within that community, and you could do that while you take a couple of weeks off on a trip, and you'll see the myriad of people and just maybe fall in love with it.
No, it sounds absolutely beautiful, and you've mentioned quite a lot of things that you've gotten out of it, but no doubt your children have gotten a lot out of this trip too. What have been some of the things that you didn't even realise have been some opportunities for your children to grow? Like you've mentioned as well, like the chores around the house, the caravan, and then the ability for them to be a part of it. But then just by going to these environments, like what kinds of things have they learned on the road?
It's
quite a broad question,
So much. So
they're emotional and social.
Yeah, they're social. So we start out with a 2 and a 4-year-old, and from the get-go, they were socializing with 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds, even older. And like now they have the confidence to go talk to absolutely anyone. And it's got to the point because we've done, as I said, when we stopped in Darwin for a certain amount of time because we had the baby. So they got enrolled into school proper.
Yeah.
And all the feedback has been amazing with their ability to communicate and their ability to connect and that wanting to discover more. Like they have that thirst to try and find things, and that's been the initiative to just go and do it. Like all the feedback we got from her teachers has been like, well, she needs to like learn to put her hand up because she knows all the answers. And it's just she's been. Yeah, it's been amazing. We're not overtly going out and teaching her ABCs and her like a reading. Yes, there's a lot of people on the road doing homeschooling and distance education, which the other kids will be like, oh, go back to your own caravan now. We got to do our lessons in the morning. And then so she'd come running up to me and go, Mum, where's my lesson? I'm like, here's some colouring in, or like let's read a book. We got that family time because we don't have all the like I guess the TVs and the not the TV because we do have TV and stuff. It's more we don't have the routine of everything every day and over full. Does that make sense? Like we're not full, so we have time just to like let's just read a book and let's go out there and collect shells, and we're just walking around collecting shells. You bring the shells back and we start organising the shells, like all different shapes, colours, that sort of stuff. We've got what was really good is we one of our friends before we left got us a book of Australian like megafauna and dinosaurs. So it has like a map of Australia at the beginning, and you can go through and go like in different areas. They have like we just recently we went to like Wyndham and
the dinosaur trail,
and all that experience in Queensland. But it's not just in Queensland. Like there's you got the you got stuff in Broome,
caves.
Yeah, there's stuff everywhere, and then so we've been following it through about all the megafauna and how it's going, and there's like different museums everywhere. So and because everywhere there's like a site, there's like the Riversley site in Mount Isa, which is completely different to what the dinosaur stuff is.
The Broome site where you had all the footprints.
Yes, but like it's like what I was getting at is that you got Mount Isa, which is like the River Slate, which is like megafauna, where you got like Winton, which is like dinosaurs, and it's like okay, so why they're actually quite close, like only maybe a 4 or 5 or I don't know how many hours drive, but in terms of things not that far, but completely different age of the different Lauda fossils and what they uncover and the different types of rocks they're lying in. So therefore, the different ways of excavating them. So like in Winton, for example, you can pay to do a course to how to be a paleontologist, in which our 4-year-old went and told his teacher that. He's like, I want to be a paleontologist. And so they'd have to sit there like, Jurassic Park like doing like this. Whereas like the ones that are in the Riversley fossil sites, they were done through limestone. So they had a calcium carbonate kind of solution sort of thing, well, an acidic solution to try and take it all out. And then that will, that's just one example of going to all these areas. You've also got a lot to do with the Royal Flying Doctor Service and and then all the different types of vegetation and all the animals and all the there's just so much of the geology. Like we're walking, where were we? In the Pilbara. You're literally walking around with a metal tent peg, you go like this, and all the magnemite just sits in it was pretty cool. And the geology there, and then got the limestone caves causing the whistling down the bottom of WA there, and then you've got there's just so much, and then like the Flinders Ranges, like that was insane as well. Like, and then you got obviously Uluru, and you're talking about how they're all formations. Like it's just so much, so much, and that's just geology and geography and like that sort of thing. And then on the side of it all, you got everything else you learn.
The flora and the fauna. Whenever we go to a different spot, we had books that would relate to. They were different colours of Australia, and each of the colours showed multitude of different animals, different birds, different bugs, different leaves and trees. And we'd try and find them on our travels and say, we've seen these ones here, we've seen these ones over here, and we've seen quite a few.
Yeah, and so you just talk to them about like my 5-year-old would probably talk to you about like the Darwinism and evolution sort of stuff. I'm like, this bird doesn't eat that, Mum, because it doesn't have this kind of beak kill.
Wow.
Like she would go and tell you that and why why they all look different and why they're here, and just like that inquisitive kind of like sort of stuff. Like, yeah. Because at the moment they're 6, 4 and
9 months.
And 9 months. But
9 months isn't too inquisitive, so
and like, there was a cyclone recently, how the weather works, all this sort of stuff. Like there's just so much that you learn just by osmosis, essentially.
Well, it's all experience and hands-on, isn't it?
Yeah, but the most important thing that they're learning is they're learning like that confidence, and that like I can go look at this and I can. I think that's it. It's more that I can. And then being with the older kids, like, it does work in a positive way, like peer pressure in that regard. Like I remember trying ages to go, come and learn how to boogie board. And she did not want a bar of it. And we're on Esperance and it was absolutely stunning. And she did not want a bar of it. Then the 7-year-old got a boogie board, went out there and she was out there and she was gone. Like it was just like just doing it. So there's a lot of good things that kind of rub off in that regard as well. And like it's just, it's by far the best thing we've ever done for them. And they say that like 90% or 80% of the child's brain is developed by 5 years old. Yeah. So hopefully we're doing the right thing in this regard. But
well, we're trying to get them to question things. Ask the questions. Don't be afraid if it's the wrong thing, because that's not what we're after. We just want you to have your opinion, see what that is, and okay, if it was wrong, let's go find the right answer. Let's see if we can discover it.
Yeah, but we have the time.
We have the time.
That's the key thing I'm picking up on.
We've got the time
to get, which we don't have as much in the city, do we?
And you don't have
hustle lives.
And we don't necessarily have Google in all the time. So it's not like, we can say, we'll just Google that answer. Yeah. No, it's like, okay, let's go see where this is going.
Yeah.
Like
that sounds like so much exploration you're learning. It's funny because it actually makes me think back when you mentioned counting the shells on the beach and all that. We had a guest on who was a very experienced teacher, Talat, and he goes, one of the best things you can do for mathematics is just see the world in numbers. And so when you're actually out there seeing the things, counting them up, and as you said, looking at shapes as well. And then, I was actually
sorting them in different ways.
Yeah, like that's practical mathematics, and that gives them an experience they're going to remember. And then as you were saying things, I was ticking off the different subject areas, like, the reading relating to English, obviously geography everywhere that you go, the science and the geology of what you've been seeing as well, and the history there, PDHBE, learning to swim and boogie board, like all of that, you are like really hitting all the different subject areas, which is fantastic. And, and our family's caught up early and I saw your son run over to you with feathers, and he said, we're collecting feathers. So, it's showing his passion to learn about all these different animals. Like, it's clearly they're getting a very rich education and obviously a very authentic, experience-based education while on the road.
Definitely.
No, that's crazy. And then you've said, obviously, your eldest has started school, and you were able to like lock down, and you based yourselves in cities where you could go to school.
Yes, correct.
How have you found that experience? Because you've done that in 2 different states, and there's different rules in different states, aren't there, when it comes to schooling? What has been your experience in that area, just like finding ways your children can have traditional education as well?
Well, we first put our oldest daughter into Darwin. That's where we were holding up while we were waiting for the newest member of our family to be born. The schools all in and around Darwin themselves, they're very accommodating of travellers, very accommodating of transient populations. They're well aware that they're always going to get people like that. I'd say mostly due to the army base that's up there. So they get a lot of families that'll come in, stay for a couple of years, and then ship off. And so it wasn't too difficult at all to come into the school. They were very accommodating.
It's also government schools.
It was a government. We are government schools, so
we're not going.
We're in the area. They would take you. So even if it would overload the class, I guess they would still take us.
Yeah.
We haven't had any issues.
We haven't had any problems. No. Haven't been turned away. And every teacher and all the children that are at the school's been fantastic. Haven't had any problems.
Yeah, we've had when we were in school in Queensland, I remember the teacher at the beginning saying, it's the same class essentially from the year before and going into the year 1, and she was a bit worried, and that was like maybe a week or 2 in. But she said by like week 3 and week 4, she's like, she's just friends with everybody. Like there's no issue. She wasn't worried about it at all in the slightest. She just takes it in a stride because literally turns up a campsite and has to make new friends. So she's used to just walking up to people and making friends, and she just makes it work. And then if she doesn't work out with one group of people, she goes to another group of people.
Yeah.
She has no hesitation.
And it gives her that resilience too. Like,
100%.
I don't want to talk to these people. Let's try someone else. She doesn't give up.
Exactly. And if
And
not,
that
she'll
was
go
our-
and talk to the teacher, which she's done. She goes and sits and has a chance. Sometimes we meet up with people and they've got their kids and, you know, they're the same age group. Like the 3-year-old when he started school, the other kids weren't really talking to him. And he's like, Mum, the other kids don't talk to me. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like they're not talking. I don't know what to do. So like, I'm like, go talk to the teacher. So then he sits every day when he was at his preschool with 3 years old talking to the teacher because his cohort wouldn't talk to him.
They weren't at the same level yet.
No. Well, that's an interesting thing too, because as you go to different schools, how do they gauge where your child is at? And is it just like she's this age, she's in this class, or is it like more variable depending on which schools you're at?
Yeah, they will.
It's
they'll-
age.
The what?
It's by age.
Yes, it's
But-
so she will go in. Well, the kids will go in based on their age. So they can only be taken in either into year 1, kindergarten, whatever the age group is required for that, and depending on what's the state requirements. But initially, they will do certain tests just to gauge what level of learning your student is at. So they do ask for reports. If you have been to previous formal education, they'll ask for your reports. Otherwise, and they will still ask for the reports, but still do their own testing as much as they will look at that. But it's more for the teacher as well to see, okay, this student has done X, Y, and Z. Okay, we know that they're proficient in this, but we still need work on this. Let's bring that over to what our particular curriculum is. And
So, for example, in Darwin, they used a lot more of the reading eggs, for example. And
no, they didn't have reading eggs. They had a different one.
Oh, they had the read write ink sort of
Read,
thing.
write,
And what they did in the first 3 years of school is they streamed the reading sections, and they'd kind of test where your kid's at, and then they'd stream them so you're not in the same class of just kindergarten. So you can be with one year 1s or year 2s.
Okay, so mine don't always just be structured that bang, all kindies are in the same class.
No. For everything else, yes, but for reading and writing, you get streamed for that. So she was putting quite high sort of thing. And then when we're working in Townsville, they used Decodable Readers Australia, and then they do a test in that, but that was streamlined, but they just said, oh, she's on level, I don't remember what level it was, but like, you know, they say, oh, you're on this level.
Yeah.
Whereas like you should be expected at this age to be at this level. So
they'd still do the testing that we did in Queensland, but all the children learn in the same classroom. So the teacher would then look after all the kids together at different levels.
And that's more similar to New South Wales.
Yes.
I'm not sure. We haven't been through the New South
From
Wales.
what I'm hearing, Queensland sounds a lot like New South
Very
Wales.
similar.
But then,
It could be an individual school thing.
and
I'm
that's
not
a
sure.
whole other factor
But
too.
so they were all streamed in the NT because I'm not a teacher, but my understanding is the first 3 years of school is you learn to read, and then after the next 3 years of school from year 4 to year 6 is you read to learn.
Oh, yeah.
That's my
That
kind
sounds
of
good. I'm going to go with that. Yeah.
that's kind of
Take
my
that one, eh?
my understanding of how it works. So I guess that they follow that philosophy in regards to the first year. Well, their transition, they call it transition. Transition year 1, year 2 is all like learning to read. So that's all they do. They do other things to support that, but that's what it is about.
Yeah.
But,
And they expect you to get to a certain level. They have everyone sitting wherever they are, and you need to attain this level by the end of year 2. Once you reach that, fantastic. You're no longer in that streaming process, but they'll
and so in
keep
year
teaching
3,
you
I
more.
think you start together again. I don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't been through that. We can't comment.
They told us that they didn't hold anyone back. So you weren't to be kept in a level that you were way too advanced for or way too difficult for.
Yeah.
They would appropriately put you, once you attained that level, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we're going to wait until the end of the year type of thing. It's like, no, next week you're going into that class because you've now attained that level.
No, that's good.
So it's move on.
Yeah, and it's obviously then very targeted at where they're at. And as you said, supportive of the transit community coming in and out. You know, where's this child at? How can we best support them in their time that they're here? It sounds like it's really good. It's set up well for them.
Oh, they I think they just expect it now. And because they've seen so many people come through that are transient, it's just the norm. They're going to get, like, we got asked at the end of the year, so where's the destination for all the people this year? So they have like a running pool going, where is it going to be? Western Australia? Is it going to be New South Wales, South Australia, Queensland? Where's everyone going? So
it's so common.
Yeah.
It's so common.
And that's the biggest thing that I found, because like I went to the same school all through primary, and in the same area, the same high school all the way through, and no one really moved around. But it's just kind of like, maybe that's my little hole, like that's my little pigeonhole there. Like, it's like a bigger, broader community of moving around and building that resilience.
That area of Sydney is known to be a very insular environment.
Every area of Sydney is an insular environment. No matter what part of you are in Sydney, you are an insular environment.
That's you saying you don't want to leave St. George.
But it's also, I don't know. It's just, that's just the way it is. And and I used to be on that mentality, but I'm not liking that mentality, to be completely honest.
But the friends we made that were outside of the school in Darwin, they all had the same idea. It's like, we're friends for however long you guys are here for. That's it. We know you might not be here for long, but we're fast friends.
Yeah, exactly. And
we know we've got pen pals.
Yeah, and that's amazing too, isn't it? Even for the kids as well.
Yeah. And then we'll go back up there and visit, and, we're definitely going to go back. But it was interesting though, because I don't mean to bring a whole new spin on this, but when we're traveling around, there wasn't many people from Sydney traveling and not many people from Melbourne proper either. And we think it's a lot to do with, unfortunately, the cost of living and housing prices, and what you're so tied into your mortgages that you don't have the ability to move on.
I can understand that.
90% of the people that we met when we're traveling are from like the outskirts or like rural, not necessarily like rural, like we're talking Broken Hill, Alice Springs, but we're talking like, New South Wales coast, Queensland coast, like,
Newcastle,
like,
north of that.
It's just amazing that like, it's like so many of those kind of families are all traveling around doing these amazing things. And it's like, well, we're the Sydney siders, we're like the token people there because we're from Sydney, and because there wasn't very many of us traveling around, because it's a lot harder to.
What is, but it's freedom, isn't it?
Oh, it's so free. We don't know if we're going to come back to Sydney for this exact reason.
Tell me that, okay?
You have to come and visit.
Yeah, you got to come and camp.
I don't camp, okay? That's it. But look, back to the education.
Sorry.
So it's all right. We'll get to that. Don't worry, okay? But back to the education side of it. So obviously you were able to use traditional education and go to public schools. Did you look into like a remote learning or homeschooling as options as well? Or have you heard about it, at least from the people you've interacted with on your trips?
Yes. We've done a lot of research into that.
How does it sound?
So, when we first started traveling, our kids weren't school age. We didn't have to worry about it. But there's a lot of people on the road who are going through different methods of learning in that regard. So the main differences is traditional, like as in the state school or private school or Catholic school or something like that. And then there's also the homeschooling, where you kind of make your own kind of syllabus, or you can go online and buy syllabuses and use that as your thing. Or you can go through distance education, whereas it's like traditional schooling, however, it connects out to you wherever you are located, sort of thing, and you get sent like packs sent out to you, and you say, okay, you have this week, you have to get XYZ done, and then you have Skype meetings and well, not Skype meetings these days. Is Skype a thing these days?
Yeah, that is like Zoom. Zoom's number one. Yeah.
WhatsApp, I don't know.
Yeah. What are the kids using now?
I don't know. But so then that's distance education, is that they'll send you like a pack out and they'll be like, okay, well, we have a meeting every Monday morning with a teacher and we have to get through this, and you have to sit there for 2 or so hours going through all the stuff, and then this is what you need to get done for the remainder of the time. So there's lots of pros and cons to all of that, and each state is very different in what it offers. So I'm not sure exactly what each and every state does offer in regards to all that sort of stuff. A lot of people who are doing like a year lap, a lot of schools, unfortunately not New South Wales, they would say, okay, we want to go traveling for a year. And they say, yep, keep a diary, get the kid to keep a diary, keep up your reading, and then, just take a year off and just re-enroll when you get back.
Yeah. They'll get an exemption.
Yes, exactly.
They apply for an exemption from school.
Yeah.
And so that's agreed with the principal, So the principal then, I believe they keep them on the books, so their position is still safe with the school, and then they're allowed to take off however long. I think the maximum is up to a year, and they can take however long they've agreed to and go on that trip.
And where do I slide back in? So I've left at the beginning of year 3.
You go back into the same age group you would have been.
So I'd be in year 4 the
You'd
next
be in
year.
year 4.
Even though I've missed a year of school,
Yes.
I go to year 4, and the belief is I was learning while on the road.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So yes, there might be we've heard stories of a lot of people going back as well, and they found that yes, they might not be up with X, Y, Z, keep up with that. However, it's not hard for them to catch up. Yes, they might not know X, Y, Z, but maybe they know more about ABC. And so it's not, and the learning, I guess what I said before about reading to learn rather than learning to read, it's kind of it doesn't really matter what you are learning as long as you are learning, if that makes sense. Maybe in the senior years and in high school, it's a bit more, you need to do certain prerequisites to do certain subjects. It might be a bit different in high school. I haven't looked into that because the kids aren't that age yet.
You don't have to worry about that for a while, don't worry.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess we would,
It's their life experiences that they're getting on the trip that are, I guess, going to account for more of their learning that they would have done in that period of time.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And you kind of alluded to then New South Wales being not as flexible. What are some of the challenges? Obviously, we're all from New South Wales, and I think a lot of our audience is too. What are the challenges in this kind of distance learning capacity that New South Wales puts that the other states don't really have?
Well, I can only really work off anecdote evidence, which is not the greatest evidence. But I've heard stories whereas, you can take time off or you have to do distance education. And then you have to sign statute declaration saying you have to come back and enroll in that school. You can't just keep on going, for example. I've heard stories I have friends who are doing distance education and they had to literally be logged in 2 times a week, which is very hard when you're in the middle of whoop whoop and you need to okay, we're in this place, we're in this town. If I was to travel somewhere, we have a minimum time that would be in our town, which would be 1 day to arrive, 1 day to leave, and then you've got 1 day to do your life admin, go to the shops and restock and do your laundry, and then you've got 2 days to kind of do the sightseeing of that town, for example. But then if you're going to have to do 2 4-hour blocks, if you have to be there at prime time at 9 o'clock in the morning, where you're most likely going to be, if you're going to do a hike, you do it in the morning. Do you know what I mean? It's not very flexible in that regard to be online and have reception to do it that time because, you don't know where you're going to be to then, time in.
Depends
and then
on
you'd
the
have
technology
to,
that you've
and you'd
taken with
also,
you.
exactly. And then you'd also have to plan out. It's okay, well, in 3 weeks, I'm going to be in this place. And then they're going to have to send post. You have to meet up with the post and then,
that's for your distance education, the work packs.
Yes, the work packs that come with distance education in that regard.
Because they send a physical package to you, not just emails and such.
That sounds so old school.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be maybe it does help with the young ones. But you'd expect everything to be digital.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No.
We've only got
Just
anecdote information because we've been enrolling them in school while we've been traveling around at the moment because that's just the way that it works with us because we need to work. We work and our model is that we work and then we travel and then we work and then we travel. So, so that's kind of how that works. Also with the homeschooling, so I know a lot of people would be homeschooling through other states. From my understanding with the New South Wales homeschooling, they come and do checks at your home to make sure, one, you are there and check out your environment that you are there. And that's a bit, I guess, intimidating in that regard. Even if you go, as I said, you can buy all these packs online that you can have of curriculums. You can do any curriculum you want, kind of thing. And then they send it out to you and then you can do the work where you want, but then it's very stringent of exactly what you need to do, the amount of red tape, I think you'd say, that you have to jump through to do.
Might be more restrictive to doing homeschooling on the road.
Yeah, that it's not very travel family friendly compared to, say, for example, Victoria, South Australia, or Queensland.
How often would they want to visit? When you said they check your environment.
As I said, it's all anecdotal.
Might be a random house visit. You might get none. You might get 10. Who
We
knows?
we
It might
don't know
depend on
100%
who-
on that. We just heard some stories, and then we're just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. So
take that with a grain of salt. It's
No, but it's obviously food for thought if people are going to hit the road, and also just the amount of options there are available too, that it isn't just one way too. And as you said, some states are very flexible with accessing
and
the
like
schools.
the teachers are like, oh yeah, go for it, off you go.
Yeah.
The principals have no qualms of you doing that. And then other places, like, I don't know, maybe it's a control and power thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
have a good working relationship with your school principal.
Yeah, that's any school environment.
Take them out to dinner.
Yeah. Can you do that in some of those rural towns?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is there a place to go out to dinner in the rural town?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's just the city mentality in me. Well, then you kind of then alluded to just with the learning, the types of barriers you have in place too. Like you've just mentioned, technology can be a big barrier, can't it, in trying to educate your children when accessing traditional means. Like what should people be considering if they are going to hit the road, barriers they're going to have and that they've got to prepare for?
They'll need to look at how they're going to be doing their education. So are they going to be wanting to doing it full-time in the van? They could also be stopping at major cities or rural towns and going to their libraries, finding a quiet space which is open for them to go and do their week of learning and then sending it on. Some of the technology things you might be looking at, for us, it's been Starlink. That's been a big thing to have.
Isn't it better than our NBN, isn't it?
It can be. We were getting, on average, about 140 megabytes download, and about, it didn't really matter too much on the uploads. But yeah, 140 megs.
And the most amazing thing about that is as well, like we're on the road, and yes, I'm working for a block and not for a block. And Nathan's like the lovely house husband who's been doing all the cooking and cleaning and organising like that. But like the Starlink has now allowed him to study a master's degree. So
wow. So you're studying on the road too?
That's right.
Wow. What are you studying?
Cybersecurity, masters in cybersecurity.
Wow. So that's excellent.
Yeah. So then when we get back, at least, well, when we get back, I don't know, but eventually we'll have, if we decide to stop in somewhere for a while, then he can branch into a new area of work that he wants to get into.
So this is like a complete reset.
Completely.
Yeah, a new beginning for everyone.
That's right.
That's all right. Well, how have you found your experience accessing and studying online?
It's been great. Like as I said, Starlink has made it so much easier. We don't even need to be in a capital city or anything to get reception. We're in the geodetic centre of Australia and making video calls to family back home and watching videos on YouTube and that. And you could have been anywhere. As long as you had clear view of sky, you had no problems getting reception. And
so weather will impact.
Yeah, the cloud cover does any
trees.
So you just got to be mindful where you're parking your van.
Yeah.
You can always get extension leads and things for it. And originally we weren't even going to have it. We didn't have it for the first 6 months of our travel. We were getting to a point where we were going to do some really remote travel and it was going to be like 300 Ks to the nearest phone reception.
Yeah.
And so we had a choice between a satellite phone and Starlink. Pros and cons for each. The satellite phone was small, but it was prohibitive on its initial cost. You needed I think it was about $2,000 brand new, but you could hire them.
Yeah.
But then you still needed to be on a plan as well for the sat phone, and you could only do phone calls and messages for it. Whereas we're looking at the Starlink, and it had similar ability, but you did need it. You couldn't use it instantly.
Got the internet.
You got the internet, but then you could do the your video calls through Wi-Fi.
Once you got the internet, you got access to everything.
Exactly.
Everything can be done digitally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mate, but the pro with that, the con with that one was you needed power for it. So
power's gold.
We
got solar power. We got to upgrade batteries. We got to do all that sort of stuff.
So if you didn't have power to power the Starlink, then that was always going to be a problem. And if you did get into trouble out in the bush and you suddenly lost power, well, the sat phone would have come in real handy. So it had its pros and cons, but the Starlink won out in the end.
Wow.
So it's fairly simple to set up. It takes less than 10 minutes and go anywhere with
Well,
it.
it's giving you a lot of opportunity, especially in those remote locations.
That's right.
With your study, who did you study through? Like, who made it available that you could study while you're on the move?
The uni itself. So I'm studying through La Trobe University at the moment, and they were offering a course that enabled me, as someone who hadn't actually done a formal university degree previously. They allowed me to go in through an alternate entry pathway. I had to do 2 micro-credentials. Once passing those, they were equivalent to the first subject in the graduate certificate. And then I could apply, once passing it, to go into the graduate certificate itself. And
then the diploma and then the master's.
And then the diploma and then the master's afterwards. But I can skip the diploma and go directly into the master's after completing the graduate certificate.
Yeah, we're working it out still.
Yeah,
but it was kind of the another thing that we ticked off.
That's right. And it's, while studying on the road, it does has its challenges for finding the time, because we are still trying to use as much time as we can to spend with the kids and go and see the sites and things. So during the day, it's less likely that I'm able to study. So it's almost treated like a full-time job, going out and seeing all these things. And then the part-time study happens at night. So I might be on the computer studying until about 11 o'clock, wake up again at 6 and day starts again. So
which is, if we were back at home, he would be working and then he'd study at night and had no time
and
for
then when
kids.
you see your kids, exactly.
Exactly.
Right.
So now he has the opportunity that it'll be, okay, so the daytime spent with all us. And then maybe you get some in when the kids are asleep or something. But then, in the afternoon, night, he studies. And then,
I might get an hour during the day if I'm lucky, and then do the rest of my study at night and do all the assignments as well. So
it's been a very positive experience and not very flexible one.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's deadlines on assignments and certain things you've got to do.
Yeah, that you can't get away from that. I don't have unlimited time to complete all of this. No, I've got to get it done in certain times. So
which is a good thing, because otherwise it'll last forever.
That's right, hey. You got to get the course done. Yeah,
yes, we do have to get the course done.
That's really exciting, and just knowing that there are institutions out there. I know that many of the universities do offer remote courses and all that, but just specifically with yours, that it had ways for you to get into it, to support you while you're on the road, and just the flexibility in doing it. That's fantastic, and a whole career change.
Yeah.
That's good. Joining the IT world, IT, way to go, guys. IT, 100%. No, well, that's excellent. So I want to transition now to basically one of the things we've been looking about in this current topic is like spiritual health, and life on the road. And one of the greatest beauties in Australia is, the Indigenous traditions and, their spiritualization that I'm imagining is ingrained all through these places you've been. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Oh, yeah. There's so much that we didn't know or we thought we knew, but it was completely wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, what would that be? Like, what was wrong?
One thing is like how, like, there's so many cultures. It's not just one culture. And then how some places would relate to the same things in different ways.
Just in the language, it was the same name for a whirly would be a dust devil somewhere else, or a willy over there, and
then sometimes it's a bad omen, and sometimes it's a good omen.
Yes.
And then sometimes, like, for example, all the different birds, like you see a willy wagtail, it's like, oh, someone's talking about you, like because they're going, like, they listen in and someone,
So they're so flittering around all the time. It's like they're the gossip bird.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So,
and then just so much. Then, and we are no experts at it at all, but all the way around, we've done different little aspects of hopping through.
It was something I think we would push ourselves to go and do and see. It was like, okay, if there was a cultural site, some kind of tour, that was something that we would spend the extra money to just go and do.
It was interesting.
It was something we,
like, for example, in Kakadu, there was some rock art there that was like, you'd have a tall ship. And it was painting there. And then there was another area, Uber, and then it was like, there was a thylacine, like completely different eras of like, you're like, how on earth did they do the paintings up the top there, for example? And then like so different, like different eras, like, they don't even wouldn't even know each other personally, but yet the same story.
Because
the
it's
same
tens of thousands of years.
Yeah, but it's the same story. They keep on saying over this everywhere. It's like it's a living culture. Like it's the same stuff getting passed down, and down. And then, like, for example, all the rock art was just unbelievable. Like, especially like in the Kimberleys, like those.
And each area had unique rock art specific to a tribe in that area.
And the different deities as well.
Completely different to each one we went to. And as Alishja said before, some things meant different things in different areas. So certain handprints would mean your seniority in the tribe, and the higher up you got was the more important person you were.
Or the more the wrist,
more of the
arm.
wrist that was shown on the arm meant your seniority as well. So you might start off with just a couple of fingerprints when you're a child, and then it would slowly get down to where you're. And these are all the spit paintings.
Yeah.
So they would put the paint in the mouth, chew it around, and then spit all over their hand on the rock.
Yeah.
Then you'd get the
stencils.
The stencil, no, the one where they chipped it in at Mutawinji. Yeah, so they had like a rock art there where it was actually chipped in to the rock. So you had like it was all little dots, but dots in the rock. And so they gave you pictures of like the kangaroos, marsupials and everything, and then their particular dreaming stories that they had in the area as well. Amazing what you can learn and see, and what sites they see as sacred, what are men's sites, what are women's sites. And so certain sites we couldn't visit because the tour guide that we had on the day was a man. And he's like, I can point you in the direction of where the women's sites are, but I can't take you there because I'm not a woman. I'm not allowed to know what goes over there. I'm not allowed to enter that site. If a female was taking on the tour guide, they might be able to take you there, but I can't take you there at all. So it was really eye-opening for everywhere we went, how everything was different, and just what we could learn from them and move forward with it, I guess.
Well, because like as you said too, like just with the wildlife, it obviously had a big impact on their culture. Like I said, they see a certain bird come, someone's talking about you. Like they really have that connection.
Well, they also have
all the
their
curlies and
you could also think of their skin names as well. So their skin name is their revered animal, and they're not allowed to do that's. They've got to protect that animal. They're not allowed to eat that animal or do anything wrong to that animal. So someone might have a skin name that's a goanna. Yeah, they're not allowed to eat it or touch it. Then
the unfortunate if you were the barramundi.
Well, there was some, but and then it's also your mother, and it was passed down.
I'm not sure 100%. This is not our area of expertise, and this might be one area, and another area is completely different.
Of course,
because then you also gained a skin name from your parents as well. So whatever your skin name for your parents were, that's what you got as well. Yeah, and so if your father was one animal and your mother was another animal, then those two animals you couldn't touch either.
Oh, yeah, so you want to match with someone who's got the same probably?
No, you weren't allowed to match the same. So this was also a way for them to stop inbreeding. Yeah. So you, by having different skins, meant, you could match with that person, but you can't go the same one.
Yeah. And then like, let's say we've got two different animals' skin names and I'm in charge of protecting my animal. Are you allowed to eat my animal?
Yeah, if it's not my skin name.
But am I supposed to protect it? Am I supposed to no, don't eat my animal?
No. You just can't eat it because that's your skin.
Totem.
Yeah, don't rub it in, okay?
Totems were different. Totems were something else. There's a lot of different things that you could talk about on the culture. Yeah.
And have you been to Uluru already? Or?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and Uluru. Obviously that's a big spiritual location for them. How did you guys find it?
It was...
I loved
pretty cool, yeah.
We rode around it on bikes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And, that was really good. And they had, like, water holes. I didn't expect all to be water holes around it.
Because you envision that it's dry, don't you?
And there was all big gum trees and water holes around the sides of it. And then there was caves. You can go in caves in parts of it as well. But
we were there for the supermoon, weren't we?
We were there for a supermoon.
Oh, no way. Did you get some photos?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
You probably post them. I
don't probably.
Terrible.
Uluru was amazing. But to be honest, for me, I thought, was it Catajuta was,
Catajuta.
yeah, that was
The
amazing. So
ones.
that's just near. It's like another big iceberg kind of rock
yeah.
formation, similar to Uluru, maybe about, half-hour drive from there or
Oh,
something?
so still pretty
Yeah,
close
no,
to it.
Yeah.
it's in the same
See,
vicinity.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. I kind of like that more than
Did you
Uluru, to be honest.
Because you do see Uluru a lot in all the promotional
Well, yeah,
material
that's
to
it.
see
eh?
it.
Yeah.
So
But you
It's an icon.
don't understand about all the rest of the stuff that's in the same
yeah,
vicinity.
or stuff around it. Like,
Well, the envisionment is it's just there. When I think of it from an outside, someone who's never been to that area, you think it's just this rock and it's barren desert all around.
oh, no, it's not
No.
barren. Not
No.
at all.
No,
There's
definitely
so
not.
much around there.
Yeah.
It's not like, and even for the deserts that we've been through, they've been pretty much full
Yeah,
of life.
like,
That was
we
probably
did it-
one thing that we didn't expect as well. We were thinking, deserts are just going to be red, dusty
Well,
places.
that's it.
We
Yeah.
went into the Simpson Desert, not as far as Big Red, but quite far in. It's like shrubs everywhere. Like it's not like all like just sand.
Yeah.
And then same when we crossed the Tamanai, like there was lots of little trees like the sizes of like your car. Like it's not tiny. Like it's not as much.
No,
you
not
thought?
as barren as you might.
The most
Picture in
barren
mind.
place I think would probably be on the Udindata track.
Yeah.
But
Whereabouts is that?
The Udindata track connects Cooper Pedy down to Murray in the Flinders Ranges in South Australia.
Yeah.
So it crosses and it skirts the bottom of Lake Eyre.
Yeah.
So that in itself was a crazy trip because in that leg of the trip we lost air conditioning on multiple 42-degree
It wasn't too
days.
fun.
For 3 days we drove in the car and no aircon. So all the windows were down.
We had to
and
have a wet towel on the window to just
Cool it
try
down.
and keep the air cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
But it was insane. But I remember pulling up for lunch, and this was what really surprised. Like it was the most barren we've seen. It was kind of like almost because of overgrazing, where the desert itself is alive. This place has been farmed too much, and I think that's a little bit why.
It's a lot of the wildlife.
Maybe it is naturally like this as well a little bit, but it was the most Anyway, so we pulled up to this area. And we saw like the only tree we could find. And it was like, okay, let's go sit under there and have lunch because, the kids are in the car. We don't have aircon. We need to get out of this car for just a little bit to let them have a run around. But at the same time, we walk too much in the sun, we're going to get skin cancer. So we went up to this tree and I'm like, run over to the tree. And so anyway, I'm running with a lunch backpack and we run over to this tree. And I was just like, we turn up to this tree and then suddenly about 5 tawny frogmouths, which I did not see because, they're camouflage good.
and they sit so still.
They all flew up in our face, like 5 of
my
them. And I'm like,
God.
we're in the middle of nowhere. This is the only tree. And who would have found tawny frogmouth?
They'll
Like,
do
where are
the same
frogs?
idea.
Yeah.
Where are the frogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. Like, I was not expecting that in the slightest. And I'm like, oh, where's my camera? Didn't get a photo of them because, they disappeared again in the tree because you wouldn't be able to see them. But they're literally like so close because they don't move.
Yeah. And
must
that's
have
getting their
spooked-
shade as well, were they?
We must have spooked them big time.
Oh.
They just went to another tree. So.
Yeah. But that's so interesting that it's South Australia, because I would have thought like an NT or WA, just because of the distance, they'd have the most barren regions. But
That we have seen.
no, you've seen,
We've seen,
yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many others that we haven't.
That's
so.
you'll find them where.
Like even the Nullarbor was quite more trees than this Unadata track.
and that's renowned for it, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
that's what it's,
yeah.
But the Nullarbor itself is pretty amazing because it's right on the ocean.
Yeah.
So you can you go across the Nullarbor and then you get to the head of Bright and it's like you look on one side and you're on the ocean is like sand dunes and then you look at the other side and it's like how many kilometers? It's like I don't know
Lots.
about 1,000 kilometers. Like so we are not definite on this, but 1,000 kilometers and it's like 80-meter cliffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the other direction. And it's
People
all
would park
ocean.
their vans like less than 10 meters away from these cliffs.
Oh,
and
God,
they're
I can't.
over 100 meters high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
do you do
just
it?
sheer cliffs.
And then it's like desert and it's like flat. But as I said, I think the Unadata Cut was more barren than that area to me personally. But yeah, so
Wow. Just so much beauty as well, eh? Just so those cliffs must look amazing too. Then.
We made sure that we parked away and the kids went to play on that side of the
Yeah, of course. That's the biggest stress. Like I got the anxiety about heights, but then just your kids around the heights too.
There were people putting their deck chairs right up to the edge and had their feet over the edge of
Oh,
the cliffs.
my
And you're
God.
like, what are you doing? This is just
Oh, they just want to live on the edge, literally. Eh?
That's right.
I'm just like, don't fall off because you can ruin it for the rest of us because then
Yeah.
they'll close their sites and we couldn't camp here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And look, obviously we've heard so many fantastic things. And we kind of alluded to it at the beginning, but just as we're wrapping up now, someone's sitting at home and they're thinking, you know what, I'm thinking about embarking on this with my family as well. What are some initial tips you guys could give if someone's thinking about hitting the road and life on the road? What are some tips you give?
Just do it.
Just do it. But like from what you
If
learned,
you're
some of the
considering
interesting
it.
stuff, like about the car, about education. What tips have you guys known now that you give someone just to give them a bit of an edge when they start?
I would probably. You don't need to have a fancy caravan. You don't need to have anything fancy. You can go in a tent.
Yeah.
You would need a 4-wheel drive because if you're going to go all the way that direction, then you go all that way and you can't go to that last little bit, that would be gut-wrenching in my opinion. So, have a 4-wheel drive, but you can do it in a tent.
Yeah.
You don't need anything fancy. Like there's no one, as I said, it's a big equalizer. Like everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's doing the same thing. Just do it.
You don't need to take a full year either.
Yeah.
You got a couple of weeks, do it in a couple of weeks. If you've got 3 months, do the 3 months.
Just work out what you want to do. Like, for example, we lived in Sydney. We never thought, let's go to the York Peninsula for like a 2-week holiday. But it's so accessible. You can get, you wouldn't think about traveling there. You can go camp on the beach in South Australia. Like Flattery's Beach is one of my other favourite beaches on the York Peninsula there. Yeah. And it's just stunning.
And you don't need to actually buy all the gear either. You can hire it. There's plenty of people that allow you to hire out their van and car combo. So if you're interested in even testing the waters to see if you like something like that, go and hire it for a weekend. Yeah. Try it before you buy it, or take just that out so you don't need to have that, asset sitting at home. Because not everyone's going to have the ability to carry a caravan and full drive back home. So hiring it out and not having to store it somewhere is always beneficial as well.
Yeah, we do the same. If we ever stopped, we would sell it all. And then if we wanted to go again, we'd buy it all up again.
Yeah.
We wouldn't,
And libraries. Libraries
are
your best friend.
Libraries are the best.
Libraries are your best friend on the road.
I don't know what's happening with the libraries here that we went to before in New South Wales, but there are so many better libraries out there.
Yeah, wow.
So many STEAM programs that they offer of an afternoon that we would just go to, put the kids in. They do like a Lego club or a STEAM activity where they'll put out like 12 to 15 stations all revolving around a particular subject. And so, say for instance, one was on dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And so they might have puzzles for dinosaurs, drawings for them. They might have a sand pit where you've got to dig up all the fossils and try and make your dinosaurs from that. It was anything and everything to do with that. And then they might have another one that was more centered around arts and crafts. And so then they'll have an arts and crafts day and you make all these different things. And then every second week they did the Lego club. Yeah. And they'd have boxes and boxes of Lego. So anyone could turn up for this. You'd spend an hour and a half just making whatever you want on a little Lego square. Didn't matter what it was. It could be anything. And then at the end of your build time, they had cabinets all in the library and you got to display that Lego creation for the next 2 weeks until the next Lego club.
But
so the kids got to come back.
It's not just Lego Club though. Like for example, we hired sewing machines and we made the kids all clothes. We had a spotlight and had time to make them clothes.
The skills you guys have been updating yourselves with.
That's right.
And for example, like when we're in
hiring of the books.
No, not just hiring of books. Like with our books, what we do is generally is because we can't be we're moving along quite consistently. If we've got library, we use the same library, but we literally get our books. We read them and then we give them to Vinnie's and pick up another lot of books and go to the next one and read them and back and forth, and we just keep on buying books from the secondhand shops. But with what was really cool is that the steam boxes that we had in Darwin, for example, you literally get a big box like this big and it would be full. Like for example, they had one about astronomy, and so they had like all the different books and they had like plush toys of the planets, and then they had
a full-size telescope,
a full proper telescope. So we took it camping because you got it for 2 weeks,
and we took the sky.
We took it camping and you can use the telescope proper, and then they'd have like they're talking about like all the different like refraction of light and how a telescope works, and it's like all sort of thing. And then the sound one was really good too.
Yeah.
So you had the tuning forks, and then
the anatomical model of the ear, so you could pull out all the pieces of the ear, study that. You had a boot box, so you could play the keys on that and change it to, this is a drum cassette, this is a keyboard, and then you play the chords and the keys depending on what instrument you picked. So many good things that were found in libraries that, and these boxes weren't necessarily just aged for our age kids. Like they could go up to teens as well. They were just amazing things that you could take home and not have to sit at a library. You can take it home and go play with it and then bring it back when you're finished.
That's pretty cool that the libraries also offer that strong educational aspect as well. And just to clarify for the audience, STEAM is STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but then the A stands for art, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that's where it gets the STEAM from. So the libraries are targeting that area of education when they go through it to STEAM. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought that too, that the amount on offer from these libraries.
We have got so much from libraries. I've never had, like, we always borrowed them. Before we left, I was part of the toy library. I was part of the normal library. But what I've gotten out of is the library is like, they're huge like play centers with so much for the kids. Like you don't need to go and buy fancy toys. You can just go in there and, you ask the kids what they want to do on the weekend and they go, let's go to the library. Like even now, like they just want to go to the library. It's fun.
Oh, that's excellent, guys. Oh, look, that was a great bit of advice to finish on as well, okay? Look, last question I got for you is, but I think I know the answer. You're not coming back anytime soon, are you?
No.
Well,
When the kids say it's time that they want to be part of the same, say, soccer team for multiple years in a row or something like that, but we're going to keep on travelling. Australia and maybe New Zealand, maybe even abroad. Who knows if we can keep up this model.
Expansion.
Yeah. The Muir tour is going to keep on going.
Going international.
Maybe going global, eh?
Yeah.
That's it. But you're going to visit before another 2.5 years, aren't you?
Yeah. Well,
maybe.
You're
You're going to visit before the 2.5 years.
Me in the bush, mate. This hat's as bush as I get, okay? But look, guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing your story. And for our audience, there's so much value in what you've just said, okay? So much food for thought. So thank you very much, guys, okay?
No worries. Thanks, Chris.
No worries. To everyone out there, we are the Educational Currency. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. I don't have Rob here because, he's just the expert at giving that out, okay? But we'll catch you next time. Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. That was great.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh, my God, the amount of gems you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, people